What's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the top 5 new best class setups here in Season 2 of Warzone 2. With everything considered, with the near dozen of weapons that were tuned, these are now the top 5 best weapons that you should be using for high kill wins in Warzone 2. If you guys are brand new or any of these class setups do help you guys out, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. I'm going to be uploading a bunch of Resurgence gameplay, and I don't want you guys to miss out. So have all those notifications on, and do me a solid by clicking the like button. It takes seconds of your guys' time, and it really does help push the video and give us more exposure. Without further ado, here is class setup number 1. Our first weapon, we have the M13B. This thing received a huge damage buff, so it's basically going to kill a little bit more quickly. For the first attachment, I have to throw on the 6-round magazine. This thing has a very high fire rate. You burn through ammo. You're going to be reloading a lot. The 60 is going to come in handy, so you can take out multiple enemies without having to reload. For my next attachment, I have the F-Tech Ripper 56 Underbarrel. This is going to make my weapon's accuracy and recoil control so much better and manageable. Once again, the fire rate's really high. The recoil is going to be a little bit messy, so it's going to make it a little bit easier to control with this. For my muzzle, I threw on the Harbinger D20, and with this, I get sound suppression, so I'm off the radar. Enemies don't know where I'm at. But I also get bullet velocity and damage range, which make my M13B so much more effective at longer range engagements. For my next attachment, I have the 14-inch Bruin Echelon barrel. More damage range, more bullet velocity. Again, this thing's going to be an absolute beamer, and it's going to rock enemies very quickly at long ranges. When you have this barrel and the muzzle, beautiful combination. And not to mention, we also get recoil control as well to help manage that recoil once again. And then my last and final attachment is the best optic you could throw on any weapon in Warzone 2, the AIM OP. As far as goes for the tuning, starting with the underbarrel, I tuned it for recoil stabilization, aiming idle stability. I just fully dedicated this attachment to making my weapon as accurate as possible. You can see in a tuning chart, we did a pretty good job of doing that. For the tuning on the muzzle, I did recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. So main focuses here were damage, range, and recoil. Once again, it just helps your weapon be so much more effective. For the tuning on the barrel, I went ahead and did recoil steadiness and damage range. Once again, just heavily favoring the damage and the range on the weapon. And then the tuning on the optic, I did ADS speed, and then I have it close to my face so I can see a little bit better visibly. Take this to the firing range real quick. You're gonna see zero recoil. I mean, this thing does not move whatsoever. For our second class setup, we have the most dominant secondary weapon you could throw on, the P890 pistols. The X13s were nerfed so bad to the point the P890s are just better. So for this first attachment, I have the Akimbos on. What's better than 1? 2. It's great. You shoot these things like twice and enemies are downed. For my next attachment, I have the largest magazine, the 12-round mag. This is going to allow me to take out a lot more enemies without having to reload. It's also a lot more forgiving, so I'm not caught reloading. My next attachment is the Bruin Express trigger. It's going to increase the fire rate so these things could shoot a little bit more quickly. I threw on the FT Steel Fire muzzle for sound suppression off the radar, and then I got bullet velocity and damage range on this, which make these things a little bit more effective at medium range gunfights. So I'm not only using these up close, I actually have a little bit of range and leeway. For the barrel, I don't run anything because the barrels actually don't just do enough for me. I think this muzzle's actually better for the range and accuracy than any of the barrels would have been. And then finally, I have on the 1MW pistol laser, which is going to help with my hip fire accuracy and hip fire recoil control. Now, as far as goes for the tuning, you can only tune 2 attachments, the trigger and the muzzle. For the trigger, I did recoil smoothness and then sprint to fire so my pistols can come up quicker after sprinting. And then for the muzzle, I tuned it for recoil smoothness and then bullet velocity to help out those ranges. Again, these P890 pistols are so deadly up close, way better than the X13s after the update. Speaking of dominant secondaries, the new best SMG, it's here, and it's the MP5. The Fennec 45, say bye, man. That thing is no longer meta. So here's the new meta SMG because they didn't touch us whatsoever, and it was already competing with the Fennec 45. So starting off, we have the 50-round drum. One thing I love about this thing, it has a way bigger mag than the Fennec ever had, so you could take out so many more enemies without having to reload. For the underbarrel, I have on the Merc foregrip to control the recoil control and make this thing a lot more accurate. For my muzzle, I have the Bruin Cubic Comp. Once again, just furthering my accuracy and recoil control so I can land so many more shots, and it's just gonna make this thing kill a lot more quickly when I'm landing more shots. I have on the VLK Laser 7MW for ADS speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed. So a little bit of mobility and a little bit of accuracy for my weapon. And then finally, I have on the LM Stockless mod, which make the mobility of this thing just insanely cracked out. And that's why I really needed this Merc foregrip and the Bruin Cubic Comp, because you lose out on a lot of aiming recoil control, aiming stability. It just makes your weapon just torched. So those two attachments made up for using this. Now, as far as goes for the tuning, one of them is a Merc foregrip. I tuned it for hip walking speed and then ADS speed, and then the tuning on the muzzle is fully for recoil control. I did recoil stabilization and gun kick control. And then if I quickly take this thing to the firing range, you're gonna see 0 recoil, as great speed. I mean, I feel like I could strafe very well with it. Say hi to your new Fennec 45, man. This is the new best SMG. Try it out. And for our fourth class setup, although the KASTOV 7.62 was nerfed, this thing is still unbelievably deadly. So here are the attachments and tuning for this thing. I have on the largest magazine, which is sadly a 40 round. This is the biggest downside to the KASTOV 7.62 is the magazine size. If it had a 60, I mean, it'd be meta 100%. But since it only has a 40, you know, it's a little on edge, but this thing hits hard and you'll see that in the firing range. For my second attachment, I have the F-Tech Ripper 56. This is gonna help better my accuracy and recoil control, especially at those very long ranges that we sometimes find ourselves in. For my muzzle, I have on the ZLR Talon 5. Sound suppression, off the radar, enemies can't see ya. You get bullet velocity and damage range, which make this thing way more effective at long range gunfights. For the barrel, I have on the CAS 10 584mm barrel. With this, you get damage range and bullet velocity. With this barrel and the muzzle, I mean, seriously, this thing at a range is very, very deadly. And then I also get recoil control, just furthering my accuracy and helping me land more shots. And then my last and final attachment, best optic, like I stated earlier, the AIM OP. For the tuning, starting with the underbarrel, I fully tuned it for accuracy and recoil control to make my weapon just easier to manage. We got recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. The tuning on the muzzle, I did recoil smoothness and bullet velocity, which heavily favors the range. The tuning for the barrel, we did recoil steadiness and damage range, which heavily favors both damage and range. And then finally, for the tuning on the optic, I have it at close, and then the bottom slider, I think, changed. I have it tuned for close, so it's a lot closer to my face, and I can visibly see a lot better at longer ranges. If we take this thing to the firing range, I mean, look at this. It works just like the RPK does, but the nerf wasn't so severe where it's completely torched. So I highly recommend using this. It's a little bit slower, but dude, this thing hits. And then for our fifth and final weapon, we have the SAKIN MG38. This is a little bit of a wild card, but I really think this is gonna be meta, and you're gonna see why. So starting with the first attachment, I have on bullet velocity, so this thing can actually reach further ranges. Bullet velocity is a little chalked on this thing, so that's why I had to throw it on. For the underbarrel, I mean, this makes this weapon have 0 recoil. I don't really need to say much. You just got to look at the chart. The accuracy and recoil control just skyrocket. It is unbelievable. For my muzzle, I have on the ZLR Talon 5, which we've used previously, and I threw this on for the bullet velocity and damage range it offers. For the barrel, I have on the 20-inch Bruin Silver Series barrel. More bullet velocity, more damage range, and then obviously, you know, a little bit of recoil control, which is helpful. And the same optic we've been using on the other long-range weapons, the AIM OP. As far as goes for the tuning, we can tune all these attachments, so bear with me here. For the ammunition tuning, I did damage range and bullet velocity, which heavily favor both my accuracy and range. The tuning on the underbarrel, I mean, goodness, dude, look at the tuning chart. Fully maxed out on accuracy. We got recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. The tuning on the muzzle, we did recoil smoothness and bullet velocity, which is going to help at those ranges, and it's going to make this weapon so much more stronger. And then the tuning on the barrel is recoil steadiness and damage range, which heavily favor damage and range. The tuning on the optic is ADS, and then it's close. Take this to the firing range. Oh my. The thing doesn't move whatsoever. It's the easiest weapon to use out of all 5 weapons I've covered here today. Now, as far as goes for the tuning on all these weapons, secret for you all, for those of you who made it to the end of the video. If you want to be as accurate as I was with these tunings, plug in a mouse to whatever system you guys play on, and you could pinpoint the exact number you're looking for in the tuning. For me, I'm a controller player, but that right analog stick sucks for tuning out. I just plug in a mouse and it makes it so much better. If you don't have one, do not worry. Just try to be within 3 points. Obviously, the closer, the better. Now, those are the new top 5 best class setups here in Season 2. Let me know in the comments which weapons I may have missed or should have included. I tried flying through it as fast as I possibly could so you guys can get the best classrooms. Just get out there and start frying. All right, I'll see you guys in the next upload. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.